Well, Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam, you have 10 minutes.
From 14.
No, now you have remaining only 10 minutes, please.
Honorable Presiding Member, last week there was a procession that commenced in Mena and that was going to finish up in Matale, which was to commemorate the 200 years coming of the upcountry Tamil people to Sri Lanka. And the procession also took place in Jaffna, and when I took part in that procession, one individual walked up to me and asked me, at least now, are you on behalf of your party and your grandfather willing to apologize to the upcountry Tamils for disenfranchising them in 1948? So, sir, whilst that question that was asked to me hurt me quite a bit, I thought I'll take the opportunity today to state our position on that matter, because quite clearly the upcountry Tamil people are represented quite well. Today the Honorable Mano Ganeshan and the Honorable Radhakrishnan are bringing this adjournment motion. I don't think I need to speak on their behalf. They have their own representatives who are very eloquent in doing that. So I wish to put the record straight with regards to where our party stands on the question of disenfranchisement that took place 75 years ago. As you know, sir, the act that disenfranchised the upcountry Tamils was the Ceylon Citizenship Act, number 18 of 1948. Now, when that act was brought, it disenfranchised the upcountry Tamils because the conditionalities that were introduced into the act in order to claim citizenship or qualify for citizenship meant that one person had to go back 2 generations. And naturally, the upcountry Tamils failed to establish their residences with regards to their grandparents and great-grandparents, and as a result, they lost citizenship. That was the practical way in which that citizenship lost. Now, sir, quite categorically, we would like to put on record that the Ceylon Citizenship Act number 18 of 1948 was opposed by the Tamil Congress. We were not in government, we were seated in opposition, and we opposed it. At that time, the Tamil Congress was united. There was no split within the party. My grandfather, G.G. Ponnambalam, the deputy leader, Mr. S.J.V. Chelvanayagam, and all others opposed that act. And so the act that literally disenfranchised the upcountry Tamils was opposed by the Tamil Congress. We had no party to play in the disenfranchisement. But of course, soon after independence, Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake wanted to have a multi-ethnic government. And he approached the Tamil Congress to join the government. And when negotiations commenced, we put as a condition that the Ceylon Citizenship Act number 18 of 48 must be repealed because of this grave injustice that happened to the Tamil people. And in the course of those negotiations, Prime Minister Sri Jawaharlal Nehru was also asked to intervene, and negotiations commenced, and eventually Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake agreed that whilst he will not repeal the Ceylon citizenship law, he will bring in a new law, the Indian-Pakistani Citizenship Law number 3, Act number 3 of 1949. He said that he will bring, and that law, to a great extent, reduced the conditionalities. The demand from the Tamil parties, that is not only the Tamil Congress but also the CWC, the late Mr. Thondaman, the upcountry leaders, was that the condition should be made to 5 years residency. because that is the condition that normally any country, any person who goes to another country if you can show residency for 5 years, then you are entitled to apply for citizenship. And unless you get disqualified by certain other extraneous matters, you ought to get citizenship. However, D.S. Seranayake did not agree to that. He agreed to only 10 years. That is to show that you are present and resident in Sri Lanka for 10 years prior to that particular date of the act coming into force. Despite that, the Tamil parties and Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru continued to bargain, and eventually they managed to succeed in getting the government to agree for individuals 10 years residency, to show 10 years residency, and for those married to show 7 years residency. Now that act would have effectively meant that the upcountry Tamils, 85%, at least 85% of the upcountry Tamils, if they had applied under that act, they would have qualified for citizenship. Unfortunately, the Tamil Congress split. Mr. S.J.V. Selvanayagam broke away, and he joined with the CWC at that time. And the upcountry Tamil leaders and Mr. Selvanayagam insisted that it should be a five-year term of residency, that is the condition to qualify for citizenship. And they asked the Tamil people, since the act refused to agree on the 5-year residency, to boycott it. Now that act number 3 of 1949, the India-Pakistani Citizenship Act, basically was only going to be in force for 2 years. Within the 2 years, everybody needed to apply. And for the first 1.5 years of those 2 years after that act was passed, the boycott was on, and in the last 6 months, when everybody realized that D.S. Seranayake was not going to back down, they called off the boycott, and in fact the late Mr. Saumimurthy Thondaman became a citizen formally of this country through the Ceylon citizenship, through the India-Pakistani citizenship law. So the tragedy, Honourable Presiding Member, is that when 85% of the upcountry Tamils who lost their citizenship under the Ceylon citizenship law could have obtained their citizenship under the India-Pakistani citizenship law, because of the boycott, ultimately only about 15% were able to gain citizenship. The remaining 85% were stateless. And it is that 85% that was sought to be dealt with under the Srima Shastri Pact, which effectively meant that half of that 85% who were stateless was repatriated to India.
Honourable Member, you have 2 more minutes. Those
people who criticized the Tamil Congress supported and voted for the second law, that is Act number 3 of 1949, the India-Pakistani citizenship law, which was brought to bring back citizenship. Right? We did not support the Ceylon citizenship law, which disenfranchised the upcountry Tamils. We opposed that. Now, if the argument, Honourable Presiding Member, is that 85% victory is in fact not a victory unless it is 100%, then I am willing to wholeheartedly apologize to the upcountry Tamils. Unreservedly, I am willing to apologize if 85% victory is in fact not a victory. That it has to be 100% or nothing else. And since the Tamil Congress supported a law that would have given 85% of those disenfranchised citizenship, if that is wrong, I am certainly willing to unreservedly apologize. But the question is, those very same people who accuse us of betraying the upcountry Tamils for supporting the India-Pakistani Act number 3 of 1949 had no qualms in supporting the Srima Shastri Pact, which evicted half the Tamil population, half the upcountry Tamil population from this country. More than half. That evicted them to a country that they know nothing about. They might be Tamils of recent Indian origin. But as far as they were all concerned, Sri Lanka was their home. They were born here. They knew no other place.
Time is up.
Right? Evicting that, if evicting that can be supported, then they must also apologize, because it's a bigger betrayal to support the India-Pakistani citizenship, to support the Srima Shastri Pact,
Honorable,
than
please
to have
wind up.
supported the India-Pakistani citizenship law. So therefore, sir,
Honorable, please
I wish
wind
to
up.
say wholeheartedly that as far as the Tamil National People's Front is concerned, our view is quite categorical. We will
Please wind up.
unreservedly support every single step taken on behalf of the upcountry Tamils. There will be no conditionalities applied to support whatever steps on either side of this house that
Please
is
wind
taken
up.
on behalf of the upcountry Tamils, and we will continue to work closely with everybody in that regard. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable